You're live, my friend.
Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. And we certainly don't take a drink of our beverage right as we're going live. Nope, we don't do that. Anyway, welcome, guys. It's Thursday. We got NFL. We got NBA. Yanni and I had a conversation literally 20 seconds ago that we got to bring up because this is going to be really, really interesting. Yanni's going to start off the show with the Steam report. And then we got to bring on Joe Raineri again to talk a little bit about our Miami-Indiana matchup. But we want to get Joe's thoughts on Bills-Broncos, and we got a big NBA prime doubleheader tonight. Thunder Rockets, Knicks, Warriors. We've got all around the world. Jam-packed show. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. And please hit the like button when we get started. It just takes a couple seconds out of your day, and it really, really helps us out boosting the algorithm. So, Yanni, get on in here.
Yes,
we want to get – all right, let's just jump right into our conversation, and then I want to get in the Steam report. Okay,
yes,
so we were looking at UFC lines, and there's Umar Nurmagomedov minus, we'll call it 1,300. We'll call it minus 1,300 on DraftKings against Davison Figueiredo. You were saying, you're like, they're almost telling you not to bet this, right?
Yeah. Here's the problem I have. Once you get up to that minus 1,300 range, that's exactly that price. Your break even is now 93%. So that's what that price reflects. So to have an edge, to look at this with no objectivity, to say, you know what, no bias at all. I'm not talking about predicting the outcome of the fight. I'm just looking to see if there's value on fighter A. And I look at fighter A and his odds are minus 1,300. That to me means that fighter has to win this fight 94% of the time for me to break even. For me to have an edge, I now have to conclude he wins this fight about 96, 97% of the time. That's just having a small edge above his implied win probability. I just think the risk reward isn't there. That to have that type, to place that type of bet, I just think that the downside risk is so much greater than the upside gain, that you're putting up way too much and that there's just too many black swans that could ruin that for you. A bad call by a ref, a judge, something along those lines. He wakes up that day not feeling great, has a headache, gets in a fight with his girlfriend. All those things are factors that, we can't quantify, but they would affect the outcome of the fight. And when you get up to that break even being over 90%, my question is always going to be, where's the edge coming from? Do we conclude he wins this fight 98, 99 out of 100 times, that this opponent had zero chance? And it's hard for me to get there when I look at Davison Figueiredo. Granted, he's at the end of his career, but he still won 4 of his last 6 fights. His last 2 losses are still to the top 2 guys, Corey Sandhagen and Peter Yan. Granted, Umar beat Sandhagen convincingly, and Davison got knocked out. But I don't think that, fighter A beats fighter B, so fighter B should beat fighter C. MMA Math warrants this big of a line adjustment because we have a price to compare. And when we look, granted, Davison was a dog against Sandhagen, a decent dog against Sandhagen, but Umar was still about a minus 300, minus 400. He wasn't up over that minus 1,000 range. That's the problem I have. Yes, Umar wins this fight. I highly doubt Figueiredo wins it. Gun the head, everything I'm putting on Umar. But as a good bet, it's hard for me to argue that laying 1,300 constitutes a good plus EV spot.
And see, I look at this and I just go, I got to figure out how to make money off of this. I have to, because I do think he wins 98 times out of 100. I mean, you got Fig. The big thing with Fig, he had that horrible knee injury against Sandhagen. He comes back too early, and he gets the gift of gifts where he fights Montel Jackson, who had the biggest deer in headlights look I've seen in a main event, and it still took him a split decision. He's basically a shop fighter. And I look at that price tag and I say, I actually think it might be a gift. How can I make money off of it? The ultimate example, of course, is the Mayweather fight against Conor McGregor, with guys saying not scared of laying big juice on this. So
Uh-huh.
I wanted to have this conversation with you because, like, is
Do
this
you
one of
know,
those spots
with
where
a with
people
a
are going to
bet
get
like
bought?
this, are you looking to prop it? Are you looking to determine the method of victory, or are you like, you know what? Because I had oh my God, I can't, Bo Nickel on my podcast. And I brought this up before to you where I talked to him about the line moving when he was on Contender Series. And I said, should I still bet you? It was 1,300, 1,800, 2,200, 2,800. I'm like, should I still be betting you? And he was like, yes, 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 yes. All the way up to 99%. He said, because that dude had zero chance. Like even there, he's like, you'd have a 1% edge over the house because I would have had to beat myself. Like I would have had to fall down, break my neck, something like that would have had to happen for me to lose that fight. He said, as soon as I touched him, I knew he posed no threat. It would be like you and an 8-year-old, you know he's not beating you. Like as soon as you touch his arm and you feel he has no strength, he's not doing anything to you. And again, can the 8-year-old get lucky kicking the balls or something? I don't know. But 9 times out of 10, the 8-year-old ain't getting the W. And so I see that argument. And Andy, guys do it out here all the time. I saw it with boxing. I talked about it in that last fight with Paul. How, you know, the big guys don't mind laying that -600, 800 to make money. So yeah, there's an argument for your side. And there's sharp guys that absolutely would lay this price if they came to that conclusion. I just haven't gotten there. But again, you don't see me running to the window to bet Davison. So.
Yeah, true. Anyway, yeah, I don't have a play on him yet, but I just know, I know me and my team are going to look at that and we have to profit off of that. Umar's going to win unless the most bizarre thing happens. Yeah. So anyway, interesting conversation on laying those big numbers. All right, let's get to the, your Steam report. Let's start with the big boys. Let's start with NFL. What are we seeing in the market so far?
All right. Going to read off some of the plays from the Steam sheet that have been in there since like Monday, Tuesday. So some of these lines have moved. Now the Steam's been doing good this week. 10-3 on premiums. I've stayed real selective, but I've been adding everything into that Steam sheet. Here's some of that NFL. They laid Seattle as soon as the Seattle line came out. But then yesterday, I started seeing the 7.5s get picked off on San Francisco. So that game's really interesting because I've seen both sharp opinions. Liking Seattle, if they could get 7 at -110, or liking the 7.5, being able to get over a touchdown on San Francisco. So it'd be interesting to see how that one plays out. And you could just tell if you look at the odds logic screen, some books have 7 juiced. Some books have 7.5 where the juice is on the dog. So it depends what risk they have, which makes that one really interesting. And, you know, it's the third time these two teams are meeting. 391 under Buffalo, Denver. Be careful there because the betting syndicates like to get out ahead of the market when it comes to the playoffs. They determine which way the bettors are going to go, what the bias is, and they like to get out ahead and then come back and pound the other side late. We saw a lot of that in the wild card round. But they did go under 47, Buffalo, Denver. New England, this one was a little bit surprising because I know many thought the line should have been shorter on Houston, New England. But they went through that key number of 3. You were looking at 3.5 yesterday until some of that got bought up on Houston. So again, playoff football, and you have a difference of opinion amongst sharp bettors. And it all comes down to the number, meaning there's bettors that want to lay that 3 on New England. There's other sharps that want to take that 3.5 on Houston. There's winning bettors that are willing to lay the 7 on Seattle. There's winning bettors that are willing to take the 7.5 on San Francisco, which shows you just how tight the lines are when it gets to the playoffs this late in the season, and why most of the sharps plays are on props, team totals, first halves, stuff like that. Sides and totals, hard to beat. They also took Denver plus 1.5. That one's flipped. Denver is now the favorite. And then the under in the Rams and Chicago, they started betting that under at 51.5. They stopped betting it at about 49. And public's betting that one over. So if you agree with the under, I used that on Bet On It. If you watched that yesterday, they'll probably come back because it's heavy on the over from the betting public. And real quickly, before we move the baskets in college football, as I talked about on Bet On It, Indiana got bet immediately as soon as this line opened, and it was expected because power rating wise, they should be closer to a double-digit favorite. But that's the power rating of the entire season. Recency is what we got to pay attention to, and that's what I'm keeping my eye on because the initial move towards Indiana was obvious, and you're going to hear nothing but one-sided Indiana money as we head into the weekend. But rest assured, the Miami money will start coming in depending how high this line goes, and then it'll be interesting to see if we see sharp money come back and blast Miami as well. The under got hit immediately. That was a little bit surprising because the bias of the bettors is towards the over. When you look at the recency of both these teams, high scoring, you would think that the market's going to bet this one over, but wise guys thought it was shaded a little bit too high, and rather than waiting for the public to possibly move this line higher and get a better under, they came in immediately because remember, these guys aren't working together. It's a zero-sum game. So we're all trying to beat the other guy to that betting line, and you don't know if someone else is going to pull the trigger, and that's exactly what happened there, where they didn't want to lose out on that 49 and 48 on Miami and Indiana. So that's NFL and college football for this weekend.
I mean, NFL, you get the national championship, and Jesse and I had this conversation about, recency bias, and we had a laugh. It was like, yeah, recency bias. India's been killing everybody.
Yep.
But so like the power rankings in the regular season, how much should that affect this line? Like, it's kind of like NFL playoffs. Don't you kind of throw a little bit of it out the window? All of it out the window? It's playoff time, man.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, but at the same time, you need something to go off of. Like, you have 11 games of data, and that kind of tells you the story of these two teams. That's, and on paper, there's not a question of, we know who had the tougher strength of schedule. That was Indiana. Like, we know who had the more efficient offense. That was Indiana. We know who had the more efficient defense even. That was Indiana. And even though Miami's getting all the hype for their defense, they're still third in efficiency, where Indiana's second. And that was against a tougher strength of schedule. So we have the rightful favorite in Indiana. It's just how big of a favorite should they be? And again, like I said, most power ratings, and I've moved my Miami up. I have Miami now 7th, and it was hard getting them to crack the top 10 because of their offense, being barely, a top 20 offense with that strength of schedule. But how they've been playing lately, you have to take that into account. And I think that's the key to this game. Because if we look at the entire season, then Indiana should be a double-digit favorite. If we're looking over the last 2 or 3 games, that shouldn't be the case. And I think it should be, closer to that touchdown, in which case Miami's the side. I think as a bettor, that's what you got to focus on. Like, will they sustain that? Can they sustain that another 60 minutes? If they can, then Miami's getting more points than they should. Are they going to regress towards the mean in that 60 minutes? Then they're not getting enough. I think that's where that game sits.
Props market, you can really take advantage of this.
Oh, yeah.
Because the books, they're kind of just taking the averages.
That's all averages,
they do. It's playoffs. You can find some sneaky yes. Good lines.
And Andy, because they're making you lay minus 115, minus 120, they don't have to be right 50% of the time and still make money. True. With those props. That's why they're in a good position. And that's why, like, I gave out my side total. That package is already up, but I left it open and wrote player props coming, because that is where the money's going to come. Like, a bunch of stuff's going to start coming in game day, and I'll probably have more risk on the props, at least on the Super Bowl I always have, than the side or total. So we'll see Monday what happens.
Yeah, we went 2-1 on our 5. We had 3 5% plays last week on player props. We hit 2 of them. So
good for you.
Nice week. Let's move to hoops. You want to talk college basketball a little bit, and then Blocked has a question for you that I think can help us all out, actually.
All right, I'll pull a couple of these off today's Steam sheet. 823 Eastern Illinois plus 6.5. 795 Oakland -2, 816 South Alabama +3.5, 830 South Utah +6.5 and 6, 849 UC Riverside +5.5. And then real quickly, I'll give you a couple of NBA sides. 512 Dallas +1 and -1.5. So they flipped the favorite there. Charlotte 517 +5. And then 505 Oklahoma City -4 and -4.5. And they played 2 overs over Phoenix, Detroit, over Atlanta, Portland. So you got hoops, you got football. You're ready to do some damage.
Let's great question from Blocked. It's inevitable. We all run into this. He said he's running cold. Where do you find confidence when you're in a cold streak?
Zoom out. That's what I always do. I honestly, when I'm running cold, I zoom out. Like if you're having a good 12 months, 6 months, 4 months, zoom out to that, and remind yourself that even during your most profitable years, you're going to have to overcome tough days, tough weeks, and tough months. You have to be built for that. Keep reminding yourself over and over, and don't question your technique. That's what the mistake bettors start doing. They start questioning their approach. And do I change this up? Do I go opposite myself? If you're doing that, you need to take a little break, because now you're guessing, and you never want to be in the position where you feel like you're guessing. Even if you're wrong, you want to at least have a process. And if your process is constantly changing, that's where you need to take a break and refine it. That's what I always tell bettors. If you're ever in that feeling that you're guessing and you don't have conviction, you got to pass and reassess. Because again, you're now flipping a coin, and you put yourself in a no-win situation. If the bet wins, now you have a process that you have no sample size for, that you're going to follow because you won yesterday. If it loses, now you're going to try to figure something else out. No, that's not the approach. Again, take a break and revisit it. But because losing is part of the ride, even during your most profitable runs, you're going to lose. If you can't accept losing, you're never going to win. That, to me, was the hardest thing to overcome. I wouldn't leave the casino until I got even. That usually made me go home broke. I wouldn't let the weekend with the bookie until I got even. That usually made me a bigger hole than it would have been otherwise. That's the stuff you need to avoid if you want to survive this. Those are the demons we all have to brush off every day. And that just comes from experience, brother. So just grind, Block. You are fine, bro. You're going through what every one of us has to go through. Got to go through the fire, brother, to get to the other side. That's all you're doing. You're just cooking right now. And the flames are up a little bit too hot. Just got to turn them dials down a little bit. You're good. You're good, bro.
Yeah. I just add in there, dissect your losses. What happened?
Yep.
Is there a problem in the process? If
That's
there's
it.
not a
Focus
problem
on
in the
the process,
process, you're fine. But if there's a problem in the process where you're really off, where it was like, oh wow, my handicap was not even remotely close, I beat the line and it's still, then you have to look at what's going on with the process. The process is fine. Then just, keep moving forward. And also, if you need to, just lower the volume or lower the unit size. There's nothing wrong with that. Until you get
your confidence back. I got crushed. I got buried on Sunday. I had so much confidence in the NFL playoffs. Sunday, 4-1. I'm like, we're rolling. I got buried. Every single bet I placed went opposite me. And what did I do? Lowered volume. Now we're in Thursday. I'm sitting at 10-3. I feel great going into this weekend. That's what you need to do. That's a great call there. And that was also one of my biggest mistakes. I'm like, I lost that money firing 20 plays, so I need to win it back firing 20 plays. That's not the approach. That was the mistakes I made. And now the hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Most holes we find ourselves in could have been covered up a lot sooner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, all right, Yanni, what do you have up for everybody? It's Thursday, creeping up on Football Friday.
I'm ready to go. Today's theme sheet is up. NFL, college football, NBA, and college basketball. NHL will be added, and college basketball totals as the day goes through. Saturday, NFL packages up. Sunday, NFL packages up. Monday, college football national championship side and total is up. Player props will be added as we get confirmation. I'm very close, probably within today, whether I'm going to fire that 5% in the NFL playoffs this week. Very close to getting that confirmation. But like I said, coming off a losing Sunday, So you know what that means. Bounce back this week, big week ahead. And yeah, best of luck. Keep grinding, manage risk correctly. You're going to do just fine.
Yanni the Greek.
Thank you,
Love
brother.
having you, brother. Great conversation, great discussion as always. We'll see you tomorrow. Yanni the Greek, everyone. All of his plays up at WagerTalk.com. Seth asks, any early action for the NBA in Germany? Yeah. Hey, Seth, yeah, ask and you shall receive. I just put up here, I'll read you the write-up. I put up, this is a 4% prop for us. It is Jock Landale over 6.5 rebounds. This guy has been getting 17 rebound chances per game. He's getting 26 minutes. This team is just decimated with injuries and trade rumors and everything. So Landale's been taking advantage of this alongside Jaren Jackson, who's just not a very good rebounder. And so when I'm looking at rebound chances, I want the number to be about half. If it's less than half, this is an auto play. If it's way less than half, this is a must play. So 17 rebound chances, that number should be 8.5 on rebounds. Instead, it's 6.5. So Landale over 6.5 rebounds would be your play in that game. So, all right. Normally we do a little promo here, but we have to go to Joe, who's been killing me in the green room.
Hey, what's going on, Andy? How are you, man?
Well, hi, Joe. Hey,
good to see you.
What's up, buddy?
No, good. Hanging out. That's all. Waiting for a game. I think. Yep, we're all good to go.
Just waiting for the Sony Open to tee off, huh? That's all.
That's it. Got a couple of friends here. We're just hanging and waiting. I think there's a football game coming up at some point here, Andy. I think.
There is a football game coming up. We're gonna get Joe's thoughts on some of this line movement in the championship game. We got NFL and we got NBA. Joe's got all the girls hanging out. But we have a special. This has been a lot of fun all week. A lot of you taking advantage of this. But Joe and I are running the buy one get one special, the Who Hurricane special, where you get 7 days of Joe and mine plays. We're going head to head on the big game, but we're going to build bankrolls this week. Joe, come on, it's not a fair fight. This is not a fair fight. Nope. I have a 4% NBA play we just gave out. Joe, I've got a 4% boxing play. We're 8-1 lifetime on boxing. We've got golf plays. We got NBA, NHL, NFL. So that's just on my end. Mm-hmm. You're getting all of that for basically half price. What are you contributing for the weekend?
Well, I am loaded. I'm locked in, Andy, on three of these three plays on the upcoming divisional wild card. One of them I'm about to make. Step it up from a 4% to 5% because now that I have all the data, this is going to be my favorite play of the week. No problem there. Cashed with one of my favorite last night. The University of Texas gets it done against Vandy, undefeated no more. I have another 4% college basketball play right now that is locked. Locked it in last night, and you need to hurry because this line will not be what it is by the time you get to tip here. So also a couple of NBA plays on a loaded card here tonight. And needless to say, I might have a little something for this game I think there's a game on Monday, Andy. I can't remember. I think there's a game on Monday.
You guys just have to know that you're gonna get Joe's spreads, totals. You're gonna get my props and my off the beaten path sports. Just know we might have conflicting plays on the Miami Indiana game. We may have conflicting plays, or maybe we end up on the same side. But in all seriousness, though, guys, this is a no-brainer. They're letting us run it for $99. That's the price of one handicapper for 7 days. You're getting two of us, and we have a huge weekend. You heard Joe's got a 5%. I haven't even put my 5% in, so you get all sports, all percentages, all 5% plays, all 4% plays, and all the sports that we're running good in. So it's a Miami Indiana combo. Who would have?
I come with friends. So yeah,
Yeah, girls are extra. That's an upcharge. The Hurricane cheerleaders are an upcharge.
Yep.
Oh, it's so great. So that's on the specials page over at Wager Talk. So it's on the top. Just click on specials and redeem it. So we're having a really good week. I'm on the leaderboard for the last 7 days. So looking forward to a big weekend.
Boom.
So, all right, Joe, let's get serious. Let's go to the NFL here. Buffalo and Denver. Yanni, just talk to us. This line is now flipped. It doesn't matter. +1, -1. I mean, it's basically a pick 'em. I'm sure the sharps would tell you, no, that 1 point means the world. Over under 46. Interested in your take. How do you break this game down?
Well, I listen. I think we all thought that, very similar to Jacksonville and how Jacksonville started out as a dog at home against Buffalo last week, and then eventually went off as a 2-point favorite, that at some point that Denver money was going to come in here and flip this. And it didn't take as long as it took Jacksonville to become the favorite, but needless to say, Denver right now about 1.5. I did the best damn betting show in the entire world ever, at least in the last 6 minutes, Andy, with Art DeCesar this morning. And Art said, listen, he's still anticipating a ton of public support for Buffalo to come in before this thing kicks off over the weekend. And it makes sense. Listen, Buffalo is going to be the public side here in a big, big way. It doesn't mean it's the bad side. But I'm having a hard time with the total in this game, Andy, because I'm trying to figure out, it seems like the perception is Buffalo, Denver, Sean Payton, Josh Allen, we're going to get some points in this game. I mean, they just dropped 51 total, right, with Jacksonville, and we're talking about that was one of the best team against the run in the NFL. They didn't run the ball well, Buffalo, and yet they still managed to score that many points. I just don't see that happening here, though. I do think home field advantage matters more as the playoffs progress, Andy. I think this round especially is where you're really going to start to see an edge for a team. And I think it all begins and ends with the defense of Denver in this one. I'm having a hard time getting to an over in here. And listen, we know that Josh Allen, when he has faced elite defenses this year, right? We're talking about the Falcons, the Texans, the Steelers, the Eagles, these top-tier defenses. Those games were ugly. Buffalo went 4-1 to the under in those spots, and they averaged fewer than 20 points a game. Sean Payton is not going to let Bo Nix sit back there and drop it 30 times a game. It's not going to happen. It's only his second year, and I can assure you he'd much rather establish the run against this Buffalo defense than ask Bo Nix to do anything crazy. So when you put it all together, I think this game is going to be ugly. I think it's going to be maybe the lowest scoring game of the weekend. So the only way I could look here, Andy, is towards the under in this game between these two teams.
It feels like the playoffs just kind of end up being the ultimate, like you can't fake it in the playoffs. And it was like, oh, there's the real Trevor Lawrence. Like, oh, no. Look who showed up. Like his shin went down on 4th and 1. It's just like that stuff tends to happen. So it's kind of like, who gets exposed here? Bills defense, Bo Nix, who's been shaky. I don't know. Could be interesting, but I like your look on that. And yes, you're right. Sean Payton is not going to let Bo Nix huff the ball.
Big RJ Harvey game. Big.
I was going to say RJ Harvey overs on rush attempts, things like that. Let's move to the NBA. We got a doubleheader tonight. Only in both these games, it really only looks like one main guy is going to be out. Brunson's a little banged up. He's doubtful, but we'll start with this Thunder Rockets game. Sengun is back in the lineup. Durant is healthy. SGA is healthy. Hartenstein's the only guy that looks like it may be out. And OKC, what a big revenge win that was over the Spurs. I read that game completely wrong. We got OKC -5. They've been sputtering here a little bit. Maybe that Spurs game gets them back on track. Over under 222.5. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, it's not been good since the calendar turned. It's not been good for really either of these two teams here. They've kind of come back down to reality a little bit. But, Andy, we see this every NBA season around this time of year, right? The games aren't nearly as high scoring. Defense kind of gets put on the back burner a little bit. It's a marathon, not a sprint, right? Guys kind of understand there's a lot of basketball still to be played. And I think OKC and Houston both kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit here, but this is a big spot. I mean, OKC just handled and finally figured out a way to beat the Spurs a couple of nights ago in their own building. And now another team they're likely going to have to go through if they're going to make another run at a championship in the playoffs, the Houston Rockets, who have not been shooting the ball well at all. Missing Sengun was a problem for a little stretch there, but they've had him back for a couple of days. And it can tell the market, Andy, I'm seeing nothing but Houston money coming in so far here today. The overnight look-ahead line here, 3.5, 4, up to 5.5 in some spots. I'd like to think that both of these teams are going to push the issue here. Feels like an under, but I think the home team can handle business here. I think Durant's going to be laser-focused, and I think the Rockets are going to want to get a little revenge from a year ago and handle their business in front of their own home crowd.
I feel like with all these teams in the West, just take the team with the points.
Yeah.
I bet if you Spurs, Rockets, Thunder, at home, you get a home dog. I bet if you did that with all four of these teams, I put Denver in there as well, you'd probably come out ahead.
Home dogs, ironically enough, Andy, have been cashing at, I think, a 57, 58% clip in the NBA so far this year. It has been extremely profitable to back the home dogs in spots.
Let's move to the Knicks and the Golden State Warriors. If Golden State was a good team, like Steph would be in the MVP discussion. Quietly, he's averaging 29 points per game, but his team kind of stinks. Looks like Brunson's doubtful for tonight, so I'm not sure we're going to get him. Golden State, because of that, -7. You have fun laying -7 with this Golden State Warriors team, because if you think they're going to win, just take Steph over his points, because they ain't covering by margin if Steph doesn't go for 30, 35, over under 229, even with Brunson out. No way I'm laying this one. What do you think?
I mean, listen, not without their own drama here that has nothing to do with Draymond, ironically enough. But, reports surfaced a couple hours ago, Jonathan Kuminga demanding a trade. Demanding a trade.
Oh, no,
here.
Joe.
So I'm telling you, I am sure that locker room is up in arms right now. They couldn't figure out a way to use him. It's kind of a waste here. I mean, the kid's 23 years old. He signed a 2-year, $46 million contract in the offseason, but it's just not a good fit anymore. So it's time to move on. So I hope they figure out a way to get something in return for Steph and Jimmy to work with. But having said that, the overnight line was 3.5, and then the Knicks lose Brunson and then lose to the Kings of all teams here. I didn't think they should be laying 11 points against anybody on the road, but I didn't think they'd lose outright to the Kings. So now if you don't have Brunson, you'll have McBride. You'll still have enough firepower here. I think the overreaction, and we see it all the time here, right, Andy, in the NBA, star players out. Yeah, well, how's that working for Denver? Because they seem to be winning and covering games, even though 3/4 of their team is hurt here. I feel like the same thing is here. I think the overreaction to Brunson likely not playing in this game, I think it's much, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to sweat out an under in this game. It feels like points are coming, and it looks like the market is heading back to that over projection here. Wouldn't shock me if this thing closes closer to 230 than underneath at 228 or 228.5.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that was one of the worst games the Knicks will play all year. I mean, they got run off the court to the Kings. I mean, 101-112. They were down by 22 going into the fourth. So you're right, complete overreaction. Yeah. We see this all the time. Bad loss. You kind of
go from an 11.5 point favorite to now you're catching 7.5 against a mediocre, against a 22 and 19 Warriors team. Like, what are we doing here?
I'm with you 100% on that one. So, by the way, underrated story that's going on in the NBA. You mentioned the Nuggets. Have you been following them? What's going on with them with this Peyton Watson?
Kid is,
like we see this with teams where like the stars go out and they're out for a month, and it's like, oh, you get some role players that get more minutes, and now all of a sudden Denver's just stumbled into this new weapon. This is like there's now Denver to me when Jokic gets back. Oh my God, this team's terrifying.
Yeah, well, they can get Valanciunas back. They got to get healthier. We know that. But the fact that they have a winning record in the meantime, while they a guy that was clearly MVP conversation, guys averaging a triple-double. You got to be kidding me here. They hope to have him back sooner than later, but the fact that they've been able to weather this storm with some wins and remain very relevant is priceless. I mean, and listen, you saw it with Sacramento too. I mean, not that people didn't know who Malik Monk was, but he wasn't playing while Dennis Schroeder was starting for the Kings. Schroeder threatens to beat up Doncic. He gets thrown out for 3 games. Monk comes in, and all of a sudden now the Sacramento Kings are on a winning streak. Go figure. Sometimes injuries, while not great on the surface, Andy, could be exactly what some teams need to get their season jump-started here.
Addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
But this Peyton Watson thing is I do player props. Peyton Watson, his point total was like 8.5. Last night it was 19.5. 19.5 on a Peyton Watson point total. So really amazing stuff. This Western Conference playoffs, man, is going to be really, really fun.
I can't wait.
All right. Money's come in on Indiana as expected. We got to talk about our national championship game. I think you and I both said, if you're betting Indiana, you got to get in now. If you're betting on Miami, just wait until you start to see money. It's been kind of quiet. There's not a whole lot of big narrative, big stories coming out, kind of a low-key measured game. Maybe it starts on Monday. Any other thoughts on this game?
Well, it's interesting. The defensive coordinator, Heatherman for Miami, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but his backstory is he was the DC at Minnesota before coming here to Miami. But prior to that, he worked with Signetti at JMU. So, who else he worked with? The offensive coordinator for JMU. These guys happen to know each other pretty well, Andy. It's one of those things that, goes overlooked because we're so concentrated on the Indiana AARP discount that they're going to get, considering they have nothing but 50-year-olds on this team up and down the roster. But besides that fact, you've got a couple of coordinators that are very familiar and have coached together. He coached the defense, obviously, against that offense at JMU, very similar. So I think there's not going to be a ton of surprises in this game. So the question to me will remain, who's going to win this line of scrimmage, right? That's what it's going to be. Can Miami have success running the ball? Indiana needs to have success running the ball as well. You can't ask Mendoza to drop back 40 times. Listen, they have not had their back against the wall yet. Right. But if we look at a common opponent, Ohio State for the Big Ten championship and Ohio State against Miami, I think that's going to be a lot closer to what we're going to see, Andy, than some sort of 45-7 heading into the 4. Don't think that's going to be that way. But I can tell you, talking to Art the Caesar up at the Westgate, you'd be hard-pressed to find anybody showing up and looking to back Miami. He said it's one of the most public teams he can remember in a very long time, Indiana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Man.
It's all public money, by the way. All public money.
Yeah. The Sharps are just going to wait until this line. I already saw South Point move to 9. So it's creeping up and creeping up. Just why Indiana is the number 1 public team.
It's crazy, right? What a difference a year makes.
Right.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
This is an interesting question. Does the Kuminga trade request somehow get Giannis?
Oh, Quentin Lewis.
Giannis wants out. So you'd have to do Kuminga, a lot of picks, but you got to get the salaries to make sense. That's the thing. So you'd have to give up a Draymond or Jimmy Butler, some kind of expiring. It would have to be a healthy package, but
you'd need another team.
It's
You need another
oh,
team.
Okay, another team. Yeah,
Yep.
it's not terrible. You got 2 trade requests.
Correct.
Somehow this might actually it's
Yeah,
pretty,
but
it's pretty good, Quinn.
Giannis already said he's never asking for a trade. So I mean, he was pretty adamant about I'm never going to ask for a trade. No, you won't, but your agent will behind the scenes. Your agent will be saying, "Get me the hell out of Milwaukee, please, as fast as humanly possible." And I don't blame him, if we're being honest.
You and I had a lot of fun with Lane Kiffin. Can we simply replace that with Rich Paul doing a podcast ripping his client's teammates?
It's like, come on, Andy.
Is this one of the dumbest?
Yeah, stupid.
So I listened to the Ringer and Bill Simmons podcast, and I listened when he announced that Rich Paul was doing a podcast, and I was like, can they do that? Can you have an agent doing a sports opinion podcast? And I was like, maybe they won't talk about the Lakers. Nope. We'll get out there and we'll talk.
They might as well just rename it the Lakers Cast. Who are we kidding here? And by the way, are you going to get one of those LeBron patches he's wearing every game now? You're going to get one of those, Andy?
I'm good. I'm a LeBron fan. I think I think what his career has been nothing short of spectacular.
Absolutely.
No off-court incidents, like by all accounts.
That you know of?
But
besides his mom. Yeah, but that's a different story. That's a different podcast. You're right. Sorry about that. Totally different. Yeah.
Yeah, but this one is not aging. This one's not going to age really well. So,
no. Does he come back?
What's that?
Does he come back for the farewell tour, or is this it?
LeBron strikes me as a guy that would love a farewell tour. LeBron strikes me as a guy that would like the
Kobe
tribute videos.
Yes, I agree.
The gifts at midcourt, whatever. He's earned it. Some of these guys have earned it. So I have no problem with these legends that have carried the league, like him and Steph. So Andy, you're going down to South Florida and hanging with Joe. It was a tough decision in the end. I do have to hang out with my college buddies that we all graduated from IU. We watched the last game, so we're going to keep tradition and we're going to go watch it there. I will actually be doing the show from that place because I'm pretty sure I need to get there when it opens to get a table because that's an IU bar and restaurant. So I'll be recording WagerTalk Today from there.
I've seen a few IU jerseys in town already, and so your fan base is certainly showing up to South Florida.
They'll be there.
I'm not sure they're getting into the building, but they are definitely in the area of the stadium, which is good.
Yeah, I like this is this is like I don't know. This is like someone that hit the lottery that buys a sports car. Like we have never had in our plans to go travel to a national championship game. So this is incredible.
No.
So,
yeah.
Scarlett's
is going to be packed. Yes, I can promise you that. There'll be a lot of IU fans.
Now in the chat now we've got the trade. Giannis will look good in a Pels uniform. Hey, maybe Zion.
Yes,
Zion and Trey Murphy. That's a pretty good building block. So
that would actually be really good. You know where else he'd look really good? Miami. He'd look great in Miami too, Giannis. Very good.
Trade him washed up Bam.
Yeah. Or just trade him to Memphis straight up. Ja Morant for Giannis.
Jaren Jackson. Yeah, you could do something with that. So all right. Joe, we're gonna get out of here. But Chris, can you pull up that graphic again about the buy one, get one special? It's maybe my favorite name of a special we've ever done. The Who Hurricane special. You get Joe and the Duck, the Joe and the Ducks plays along with mine for one price. You're basically getting both of us for 7 days for half price, only $99. All plays. Joe has a 5% best bet that's up. We have a 4% NBA play today, 4% boxing. Do not sleep on our boxing plays. How did everyone like that? Plus money cash last weekend. So go get this one. It's an absolute no-brainer. We're coming into the weekend. If you haven't locked this special in, go get it now. It's on the specials page over at WagerTalk. And Joe, tell everyone what you have up right now.
Let's go. Locked and loaded for this weekend. Divisional round, NFL, 5% coming your way. 4% college basketball, as well as a couple of NBA plays ready to roll. So all available right now over at WagerTalk. Take advantage of this because I'm sure Andy locked and loaded with the Sony Open as well.
Yep, they're teeing off right now. Got a couple plays. Got a 4% best bet in there. You know me, Joe. We had plays on the Dubai Open that teed off at midnight last night. This is how we roll. We have tennis plays. Oh, that's another thing. You're going to get all of our tennis plays. The Australian Open starts Monday, so you lock it in now. You're going to get our first round plays. So we'll close out. We'll close out with Seth. Not a LeBron fan, but respect he's doing it 41, considering I wake up with body aches and he's averaging 25 points per game. That's true.
It's a good point, Seth. That's a good point. But in your defense, you've been waking up like that for the last 20 years. So who are you kidding?
Yeah, you also don't have $2 million to spend on food and body. So, all right, Joe. Big game Monday. Good luck to you, brother. Should be awesome. Let's just hope for I hope for a great game. I'll be happy for you. I'll be happier for me if we pull it out, but it's going to be great. We will definitely be talking to Joe.
I'll be happier.
Yeah. Are we going to do something really stupid and make Joe and I be on the show on Tuesday morning?
Well, it's got to be. I mean, at some point.
4 bloodshot eyes.
That's correct. Yeah, it should be a national holiday Tuesday, but we'll muster along. We'll definitely muster along. Appreciate it.
All right, buy one, get one. Myself and Joe. Thank you, Joe. Great breakdowns. Always good to talk to you. All right, let's do all around the world, and then we'll wrap up. We get ready for Football Friday. My heart goes out to a good friend Dan, who is moving across the country today and tomorrow. So I was at the doctor today having my knee looked at, and I think I would rather be where I was rather than he is. So, all right, Chris, let's do the free plays here. We got a couple of NBA ones, and then we got a college basketball one from Ralph Michaels. We'll go Jazz and Mavericks. I've been talking a lot about Nurkic going over his points. I laid off last game. Glad I did. Over 12.5, I think, is playable here tonight. The big thing is just how thin Dallas is on their front court. Davis is obviously out. Gafford's questionable. They got another couple guys questionable. He only had 11 points last game, but he had 15 plus the previous 6 games. So I actually think numbers-wise, this is a good matchup with how thin Dallas is. So I'll take Nurkic to go over his points. We mentioned LeBron. This number seems really low to me. Over 5.5 rebounds. He's gone over this in 5 out of 6. And he's averaging over 10 rebound chances per game, and he's very efficient with the rebounds. When he's around the ball, he normally grabs it. There's other guys in the NBA where they get credited for rebound chances, but they're boxing out and letting teammates come in and get it. LeBron jumps in and grabs the rebound. So, and then free picks page. This is a Ralph Michaels special. College basketball. Georgia Southern -6 over Old Dominion. Old Dominion was only 4-13, and they've had the 132nd ranked schedule. Georgia Southern is going to be the better rested team, so we like Georgia Southern. Laying the points, -6. All right. Let's see. So in theory, someone could buy the Who Hurricane package on Saturday and have Joe's 5% NFL and Andy's 5% UFC and everything in between. Now we're cooking with fire. Seth knows what's up because, yes, I have a 5% best bet in UFC. That's a week from Saturday. So, yes, if you want to wait until Saturday morning, you're guaranteed to have several 5% best bets in there. Very, very well done, Seth. You should come on here and sell this package for us. Appreciate it. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. Great show. Chris, thank you for stepping in for Dan. Please hit the like button and leave us a comment below. Tell us what your best bet is today. Don't forget, NBA starts at 2 o'clock. Today we got a Germany game. We got golf in the afternoon. So we got a lot of good sports in the afternoon, and then got a loaded slate tonight. Tomorrow, Football Friday goes off tomorrow. Myself, you know the lineup, Marco, Teddy, Yanni. We're going to get you ready for a big, big weekend of NFL. And then, of course, we will talk the national championship game. Thank you so much, chat. Always appreciate you guys. Good luck on all your bets, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.